All right, guys, so let's talk about Gavin Newsom. Now, Gavin Newsom clearly wants to run for president in 2028. I don't think anybody denies that at this point. And he decided, in order to stay relevant, keep his name in the news, put his vision and his ideology out there, he decided, what if I just launch a podcast? What if I launch a podcast? Now, look, just that alone, I have no problem with that in and of itself, right? That's not bad by definition. I could see him doing that and executing it in a way where it's solid, right? And where it might actually help him going into 2028. But I've now given it some time, and we got to talk about these decisions he's making. Because to say he's not reading the room is the understatement of the century, okay? So, first podcast, who does he do it with? Charlie Kirk. Now, look, I've debated Charlie Kirk at Politicon in the past. I got no problem with you sitting across from Charlie Kirk. None whatsoever. But I do have a problem with the nature of the conversation. So I forced myself. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. I sat and listened. Not to the whole thing, because I couldn't fucking stand it. I couldn't make it, right? But I listened to a good amount of it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, it was a suck and fuck fest. That's what it was. And it wasn't Charlie. Charlie was the top, not the bottom. So it opens up with Gavin Newsom like, man, my kid loves you. And he was so excited I was coming to talk to you. And Charlie, how are you so successful? How have you done these amazing things that you've done? I swear to God, man, don't take my word for it. You go listen to it yourself. You go listen to it, right? Okay. So therein lies my problem. You have Charlie Kirk on. If you have him on and you fight with him and you debate him and you argue with him and you are clear in your point of view and you do a decent job dismantling him, dog, I'd be out here covering your podcast and cheering you on. I'd be out here watching it going, damn, Gavin destroyed him there, didn't he? Right? We'd be covering the clips, talking about, oh my God, look at how he cornered him here, he checkmated him here. What a great point that was. That's what I would do if you bothered to fucking do that, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. Okay, so that's strike one. By the way, strike one, you're out. Ain't no 2 and 3, bitch. Ain't no 2 and 3, right? If you're going to have Charlie Kirk on, that's fine as long as you debate him. You didn't debate him. You didn't. Okay. Then we get to, so let me talk about episode 3 before I get to 2. We learn, you know who he's inviting on for episode 3? Sloppy Steve Bannon. Now, again, let me reiterate, I have zero problems whatsoever. I am one of those lefties who defends, basically, debate, no matter how odious the character is, right? You can debate fucking Nick Fuentes, and I'll be like, yeah, I know he's a Nazi, I know he's an extremist, I know his ideas should be outside of the respectability of the Overton window, but I'm still okay with you debating him as long as you hammer him into the ground and you're crystal fucking clear, right? But he invites on Sloppy Steve. Now, that one hasn't come out yet. My guess is suck and fuck fest. We shall see. We shall see. But here, okay, you ready for this? Now let's talk about the second episode. We just learned who's going to be in the second episode. You ready? It's Michael Savage. Now, for those of you who don't know who Michael Savage is, let me put it like this. Gavin Newsom's first 3 guests are the 3 worst fucking people in the country. And again, he's not fighting them. He's making sweet love to them down by the fire. As, oh, how are you so good at this? How did you get so successful? How have you guys, been able to navigate the political landscape in such an amazing way? These are the conversations. Now, understand something, y'all. Understand something. I feel like I've been more than kind to Gavin Newsom. You know, you look online and you see wall to wall, everybody's got nothing but negative things to say about Gavin Newsom. I haven't done that. I've actually been pretty nuanced and open-minded, and I feel like I've evaluated his record fairly. So, for example, he decided in California, since all these Republican states are banning books they don't like, he passed a law to ban book bans. To say, fuck you, we're going to stand up for free speech, free expression. We're not going to be authoritarian. We're going to be pro-freedom. He did like this pro-freedom campaign a while ago. I thought that was wonderful. I saw when Gavin Newsom debated DeSantis, he's good at debating when he wants to be good at it. And he destroyed DeSantis. He hammered him into the ground in that Fox News debate. I remember watching that going, look, whatever problems these two have, this is way preferable to a Biden versus Trump situation, right? So again, more than fair to him. He signed a bill in California where they make their own insulin, which means it's way cheaper insulin for people. That's a life-saving thing, man. I'm going to give him credit on that all day long. He stopped maternity wards in California from closing. Credit. He gave doxing victims the ability to sue. Credit on that. He made it so that medical debt it can't count against you for your credit report. Again, that's great. He did sectoral bargaining for all fast food workers in California, and they basically now they have a $20 wage floor. That's amazing. Sectoral bargaining is like one of the answers to getting the working class in this country back on track. So I'll give him credit where he's due. Also, look, we could talk about the negative things. He vetoed a bill to give California universal health care. That's basically unforgivable. He vetoed a bill to get private equity out of health care. Again, unforgivable. He vetoed a bill that cracked down on the PBMs, the pharmacy benefit managers, who are just middlemen who jack up the price of your drugs. That's horrible. He's had some votes on crime stuff and on homelessness that I think are bad. But again, my point here is I've been fair to this guy. But here's the reality that we need to get to. He is perfectly indicative of the problem with Democratic politicians in this moment right now. Because what they've done is completely and utterly misread the situation. So they look at the fact that Trump is back in the White House, and what they're doing is reacting like the Republicans did after 2 terms of FDR. When the Republicans saw FDR win 2 terms, they were like, oh, fuck, all right, we got to be exactly like it. Like, we got to move closer to him. We have to be more like him in order to get political power because he's fucking unbeatable. And FDR ended up winning 4 times and having 80% of the House and 80% of the Senate at his peak. It was FDR's era, and the Republicans moved in that direction to act like that. By the same token, when Ronald Reagan won, Democrats went, oh shit, we got to rush to the right. We got to be more like Ronald Reagan. We got to believe in at least half of what these guys believe in, because if we don't, we're going to get wiped out. And so that's when you saw the Democratic Party become way, way more conservative and way, way more like Republicans. And what we're witnessing now from many top Democratic officials, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Gavin Newsom, many others, they are going, well, it appears like Trump is unbeatable. It appears like MAGA really does have this massive mandate and people love what they stand for. So now I'm going to be the good Democrat who can get the pats on the head. I'm going to be the one who's like, hey man, I'm cool. I'm down. I'm sort of with you guys. I'm open to reasonable debate and conversation. I'm willing to talk to people who disagree, bro. Not like these other stupid lefties and liberals, bro. I'll talk to you if we disagree, bro. It'll be cool. It'll be cool. And he thinks the path to political power is to snuggle up to the right, snuggle up to MAGA, have these conversations where they chuckle and giggle and make nice. But here's the fucking problem with that, guys. We've already seen in less than 2 months, Trump is a fucking disaster. How many terrible decisions does he have to make before you wake up and realize we want you to fight every step of the way? They're destroying the Department of Education. They're destroying the CFPB, the anti-scam police. They fired disabled veterans. They fired flight safety officials as planes are falling out of the fucking sky. We've had 100,000 to 250,000 people lose their government jobs. The economy is absolutely collapsing. He's working on another colossal tax cut for the rich. He's warmongering with 7 different countries and saying stuff like we're going to steal Panama, we're going to steal Greenland, we're going to own Gaza. If you look at this and your reaction is not, holy shit, I'm against all of that, then you're not serious. You are vapid. You are vacuous. You believe in nothing. Right? And that's my problem with Gavin Newsom. He believes in nothing. He's going like this. Where's the political win? Oh, looks like Trump is in the White House. Therefore, let me snuggle up to Charlie Kirk and sloppy Steve Bannon and Michael fucking Savage. Michael Savage. Let me tell you guys something about Michael Savage. The guy that Gavin Newsom did his second podcast, hasn't had a lefty on yet, hasn't had a liberal on yet, hasn't had a Democrat on yet. Charlie Kirk, Michael Savage, and fucking sloppy Steve Bannon. Let me tell you a little bit about Michael Savage. He was banned from the United Kingdom for his extremism. How are you so extreme you get banned from the UK? That's what happened. And this is who Gavin Newsom is fucking having some shits and giggles with. You have to be kidding me. Michael Savage said, quote, I was very disappointed in Trump attacking white supremacy. He said this after, remember there was a mass shooting where it was in I don't know if it was a predominantly black area or a Hispanic area, but we learned very quickly the dude who did the shooting had a manifesto, and it was a deeply racist neo-Nazi manifesto. And so Trump came out and gave a speech and condemned white supremacy at the time. Michael Savage said on his radio show, I was very disappointed in Trump attacking white supremacy. This is who you're going to fucking talk to and chat it up with and look for areas of agreement? Again, that just tells me you believe in nothing. You're willing to fight for nothing. I have no problem with you talking to Michael Savage if the entire fucking thing is a heated debate where you're crystal clear. Michael Savage said trans healthcare, quote, should be outlawed. Is that going to come out? Is that going to come up in the podcast? You're going to debate him on that? More. He said Bernie and Hillary are communists. And then he used the famous quote from the Holocaust where first they came for the rich and I said nothing. This is what he said about Bernie and Hillary. They're communists, and first they came for the rich, and I said nothing. He said, put down BLM protesters like they're feral dogs. He compared Obama to Hitler and said that Obama is doing white genocide. He mocked PTSD and depression and implied that it's not real. He called Obama, quote, the new leader of the caliphate. Ready for this? He said Barack Obama was spreading Ebola on purpose. He said Trump saved white kids from slavery. He openly and vociferously on his show defended torture. He calls left-wingers vermin. Ready? I haven't even given you the biggest one yet. Yours think, holy shit, Kyle. Well, how the fuck does it get worse than any of the things you just said there? Ready for this? This was a very famous moment on his radio show. He said, we should kill 100 million Muslims. This is who Greasy Gavin is sitting around with, shooting the shit with, giggling with, looking for points of agreement with. There's not a single person on the Democratic side, the liberal side, the left side, that should consider voting for you in 2028. People will remember how you react in this exact moment. When all the cards are down, our backs are against the wall, people who are Democrats and liberals and leftists feel like they're in the wilderness because the right has control of the House, the Senate, the presidency, the court system. It's in moments like this where your true fucking character shines. And the fighters are going to fight, and they're going to lead, and they're going to rise to the top. The cream always rises to the top. They're the fucking cream. Okay? The ones who are giggling and having nice, sweet little conversations with fucking Nazis and white supremacists and robber baron defenders, they're cooked. They're cooked. You're not going to go anywhere, nor should you go anywhere. Guys, I want to reiterate. If you have on Charlie Kirk, you have on Michael Savage, you have on Steve Bannon, and you debate them aggressively the entire time, I got no problem. In fact, if you have some good clips, I'll show the clips on the show, I'll react to it, and I'll talk about how you nailed the fucking guy to the wall, right? But I listen to a lot of that Charlie Kirk podcast. Bro, you broke out the hot oil. You broke out the hot oil and the hot stones, and you laid it down on Charlie in all the wrong ways, right? What I saw was the equivalent of Joe Rogan when he talks to Elon Musk, right? And again, he knows how to debate. He's got an opportunity. He doesn't want to do it. Why? Because he misread the room politically. Oh, everybody's got to go a little to the right. Oh, this is the trick they play, right? Oh, on the Democratic side, on the liberal side, and the leftist side, they don't even believe in dialogue, bro. The right, they believe in debate and open discussion and dialogue. Really? Has Ted Cruz ever invited me on his podcast to shoot the shit where he asks about my wild success on YouTube and how I got to this point? Has that ever happened? Has Trump ever sat down for an interview with me? Right? And when you look at the right-wing podcast sphere, it's a fucking hug box. It's a hug box all day, every day. Oh, bro, wokeness is bad. Oh, bro, COVID authoritarianism is horrible. Bro, the Democrats, bro, they're so bad, bro. Rogan show, it used to be more open-minded. It used to have some liberals and lefties on, people like me on. Now, all day, every day, it's a robber baron asshole, a corrupt Republican politician, an MMA fighter who's right-wing, a comedian who's right-wing, and it's the same fucking 5 conversations over and over and over again. They're not inviting on different perspectives. The idea that they're open-minded, they're not open-minded, they're pro-free speech. No, they're fucking not. They're in the midst of deporting a pro-Palestine protester right now, even though he's a permanent legal resident and he has a green card. They despise free speech. They despise open debate. They're fucking liars. The reality is the right fights. They fight. They make their case. And what Gavin Newsom is showing is he is not making our case. He is not. He is sitting around with some of the worst people in the country, letting them slide on all of the horrific things they say and believe. And effectively what that does is normalize these people in the sense that, oh, Charlie Kirk's not that bad. Oh, Michael Savage is not that bad. Oh, maybe I'll listen to them. And you are shifting people to the right. And by the way, he thinks if I talk to these people, they're not going to go too hard against me when I run in 2028. Bullshit, son. Oh, they're going to hit you just as hard, if not harder than they ever have. They don't give a fuck that they sat across me. There was times in the podcast Charlie Kirk was taking pot shots to Gavin Newsom, to his face, and Gavin Newsom would let it fucking slide, right? He's like, he said something like, oh, did you let your kid miss school to come here to meet me because your kid likes me? And Gavin Newsom was like, no, you can't miss school. And Charlie Kirk was like, well, you shut down the schools for like years, bro, because of COVID. Gavin Newsom just skated right by it. They fucking hate you. They hate you. They despise you. They're never going to support you. And what you're doing is repeatedly bending the knee to them, cucking yourself to them. For, oh, let me find the areas of agreement. Really? You're going to sit across from the guy who said we should kill 100 million Muslims and pretend like he's a legitimate voice that should be within the Overton window? No. Have some fucking spine. Have some backbone. Say this guy's a scoundrel and a neo-Nazi and a pig. He calls lefties vermin. He's fucking vermin. If you want to kill 100 million Muslims, you're fucking vermin. And this is not what you're going to hear from Gavin Newsom. In fact, the promotional thing for that podcast said, Michael Savage is a family friend of Gavin Newsom. Oh, is he? That's cute. Isn't that cute? By the way, more about Michael Savage. He talked about wanting to reach for his Glock to shoot lesbians. He said, quote, our children are being destroyed by gay marriage. He said, quote, the children's minds are being raped by the homosexual mafia. I wish I was making this up. Quote, white people are the only people that don't vote based on race, directly from Michael Savage. He said autism is a fraud, a racket, a brat who hasn't been told to cut the act in 99% of cases. And of course, he said, we have to go to war with Iran. That's a direct quote. We have to go to war with Iran. He said, quote, our freedoms are going to choke us to death. And he got fired from an MSNBC show. This is back when MSNBC, before it was like liberal. He got fired from an MSNBC show because he screamed at a caller into his show and said, get AIDS and die. This is who Gavin Newsom is talking to. This is who he's talking to. The power imbalance is just, it's out of this world, bro. Ted Cruz ain't trying to talk to me, or David Dole or Mike Figueredo. There's no Republican politician. Rand Paul is not fucking reaching out to Sam Cedar, right? And that's not the dynamic. But here you are, instead of propping up liberal and left, why are you not talking to the fucking Midas Touch people and pumping them out there? You're talking to Charlie Kirk and Michael Savage and sloppy Steve Bannon before you look at people like us on this show. Hey, let's talk to that person. They're actually doing the work on our side. He literally said in one of the podcasts, he was like, yeah, man, you guys have really dominated online, bro. You guys really have this big ecosystem and you control the narrative and you pump it out there. And it's like, there are people on our side doing it, but we are not linked in to the power sources in the Democratic Party. We are not taken seriously. We are shoved to the side and disrespected and disregarded, which means you're not tapping into the potential of audiences like ours. But at this point, why would I want him to? Because he's already showed his colors. He already showed he misread the room. You know who's reading the room right? Tim Walz. He came out and said, these people on the other side are fascists and Nazis. Hey, Democratic voters are not going to expect us to fucking do tweaks around the edges anymore. They're going to expect universal health care, and they're going to be right. That's correct. What's Gavin Newsom's reaction? He's not saying stuff like that. Oh, MAGA's misunderstood, and the right is misunderstood, and let me sit there like a bump on a log while Charlie Kirk runs circles around me, and I don't fight back. Let me invite the most hateful right-wing radio host in the country on the show to giggle with him. Again, I want to say it was like 12 years ago or something like that. I did a segment where I ranked the worst right-wing radio hosts, like the worst, the dumbest, the most idiotic, the most hateful and vitriolic. You know who number one was? Michael Savage. That's how I know all these things he said. And this is who Gavin Newsom is talking to. I'll say it one more time. If you were to debate him, I have no problem. I'd even take the clips, run them on the show, talk about how you killed him if you did. Right? You're not doing that. You are snuggling up to the right, trying to be like, I'm the good Democrat, because you think this snapshot in time right now, where MAGA has control of the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the courts, you feel like this is like a permanent thing. And so why stand for anything else? Try to latch on to what they've built as opposed to repping the opposite philosophy boldly and courageously and telling people the truth. That MAGA are fucking charlatans, frauds, grifters, and they're wrong about everything. And what we stand for is better. What we stand for is correct. We actually want to end the wars, not warmonger with 7 different countries. We want universal health care. We want a 4-day work week. We want 12 weeks paid family leave. We want the PRO Act so everybody can join a union and make higher wages. We want to get money out of politics and end the corruption. Only take small dollar donations. Don't take big money donations. You can rep a different philosophy and argue for it, but you're not. You're cucking yourself. Because you're showing in this moment, when the chips are down, you're showing in this moment, you're not a leader. You're not a leader. You're vapid, you're empty, you're vacuous, and you're trying to find your path to power by, calculating everything closely. And you simply misread the room, and that's going to come back and kick you in the ass. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.